Hey! Chillin on a Tuesday. How you doing? Excellent. Well, it's me, Thundercloud. I'm here, and the theme for the night is pink. I got a pink beanie, I got bits of pink on my shoes, and I got my pink singlet on underneath. Yes, and I'm here in Seahorse Medicine Cafe. Chillin on a Tuesday, on a very, very, very cold 31st of May 2022, with a beautiful hot cup of Barry's Gold Irish tea. Yeah, if you want a good, lovely tasting, strong cup of well blended tea, you can't go past Barry's Irish tea. And I'm not being paid for that endorsement either. Oh, well, let's begin the night by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land, the band by Camilla people on which this broadcast goes to, and all the First Nations custodians of the land now called Australia, and acknowledge the continuing connection to the land of the elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge sovereignty has never been ceded. Right, well tonight I've got a special reading of this particular poet's poetry, and on that note, I will give a warning to Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders and First Nations people that I will be showing, and I am showing an image of a First Nations person, and I will be referring to their name in this program with all due respect. So this particular poet here, Oodgeroo Noonuccal, born in 1938 and left the planet in 2019. Previously known, before he changed his name by deed poll to Oodgeroo Noonuccal, as Colin Johnson. And one of the reasons that he changed his name to Oodgeroo, which in Noongar means paperbark, we had a yarn with another First Nations poet, this one here, Oodgeroo Noonuccal, who was formerly known as Kath Walker, Kath Raska, where she was her maiden name. And she was one of the first, she was the first female Aboriginal poet to publish a whole book of verse and poetry. So she was born in 1920, and I'm just going to start with one of her poems before I go into some of his. This one's called Municipal Gum, like a gum tree in the city, as it starts. Gum tree in the city street, hard bitumen around your feet. Rather, you should be in the cool world of leafy forest halls and wild bird calls. Here, it seems to me like that poor cart horse, castrated, broken, a thing wronged, strapped and buckled, its hell prolonged, whose hung head and listless mien express its hopelessness. Municipal Gum, it is dolorous to see you thus set in your black grass of bitumen. A fellow citizen, what have they done to us? That's Oodgeroo Noonuccal's Municipal Gum. All right, so I'm going to be reading tonight out of this book by Colin Johnson, Oodgeroo, called The Song Circle of Jacky and Selected Poems. The first 35 poem sequence, The Song Circle of Jacky, stresses the importance of traditional values and reflects bitter protest and anger at the humiliation of Aborigines in modern Australia. The selected poems continue this theme but draw too on the extended periods the author has spent in India training to be a Buddhist monk and on more personal concerns. Colin Johnson is a Bibble man from the Swan River in Western Australia, and he ended up writing quite a large number of poetry books. But I'm going to be reading to you some of the Song Circle of Jacky. This was published in 1986, first published in 1986 by Highland House Publishing, South Yarra, Melbourne, reprinted in 87. Right, the Song Circle of Jacky. Jacky, him been sit listening to the wind. Jacky, him been walk listening in the wind. Jacky, him been sit talking to the wind. Jacky, him been walk following the wind. Song 1. Jacky's features worn and craggy, the face of the cliff behind his place, worn and fissured with the care of his race, seeing them come and seeing them go, bodies bent or straight, weak or strong, seeing them go and wanting to follow. First, he must fix himself and his self. Jacky's not one to forget, remembering too much. He wants to forget wages of flour, sugar and tea. Wages of sugar, flour and tea and women brought for a drink. Jacky sits under the sun feeling warmth so good, feeling himself lying back, reclining with his head in his hands, reclining and thinking drowsily in the shade. Peaceful his body, restless his mind, father tall and strong and fretful, circumcised into the rain dream, born from the lizard, cast out at a little place on a table in a shed, near a town, a white man's town, not too good or bad for Kooris. Jacky lying back, body resting, mind it roams, riding a wind, holding on and recalling his wife, a lissom girl with a tongue as quick as her wit, to his shack, now a house, met her in some other place and took her back to his shack, now a house, where she does what she does, of the frog dream, mated with the dog. Woman rounded of breast and thighs, rounded and a mother of 2 boys and a girl, and girls. 2 boys, the oldest ran the store, followed the old ways and had been made a man. Other still in school, beard beginning to show, just the other day, copped for underage drinking. Eldest daughter, 16, married herself to a man he did not like, one who wore suits and spoke with a lisp, collected a salary. Now she was pregnant and lived in the town. Mind, restless, mind, roaming this way and that. Daughter, a baby herself, now a mother too soon. Well, that was life. And when was the last time he'd gone hunting for a roo, or even a cow? Rabbits don't count. He thought as he lay, while the sun made a run up the sky and fell over in a blazing circle of thunderclaps ripping the earth, and retching from the craggy cliff face, a boulder beginning to fall, crashing down and rolling along to Jacky, picking him up and taking him home to tea and scones. Tea. Now I need scones. The song Circle of Jacky by Colin Johnson. Song 2. Many spirits make themselves known to him, as he sits, as he dreams in secret places, holes and creeks and hidden valleys, as he sits in secret places, in holes and creeks and hidden valleys, in forest clearings and dry desert gullies, in places lone and lonely. In the night he walks to meet them, in the great heat he sees them, in the black storm clouds and the dry dust winds he sits, amid thunder and mirage, sits amid thunder and mirage, and sees them. Jacky walks when trees crash, Jacky walks when people huddle fearful. Jacky is a doctor. Jacky sees what others do not wish to see. He takes young man, he takes old man, makes them shiver in fright and fear. He takes young man, he takes old man, makes them see his visions, makes them shiver in fright and fear, makes them suffer from the storm, makes their spirit maker, makes them leave him all alone while he finds his secret things, sings softly to the dilly bag, brings the whirlwind to his feet, glides off to see the world. Jacky, Jacky, he no fool. Jacky, Jacky, he Gurdacha man. Song 3. Joyful, die young, sad live on. Consensus and compromise, violence and fear. Joyful, die young, sad live on. Injustice and hate, petty greeds and jealousies, youth seek relief in crime, old seek relief in perversion. Old grow old, poor in lost opportunities, rich in lost souls, all aimlessly wandering. Joyful die young, sad live on. Consensus and compromise, violence and fear. Song 4. They march on Anzac Day morning, old and grey, weak and lame, the only young, lost memories of an ageing, tortured past Asian war. Present with sudden tempers and strange births, they march on Anzac Day morning, the very young clanking with the weight of granddad's medals swinging in rows like colourful beer bottle tops. They shout on Anzac Day afternoon, applauding a different kind of courage, of youthful victories and defeats, heavy with aged wisdom of past days. Anzio becomes acquainted with VFL Park, Gallipoli with the slaughter of the pies by the demons, who in the raging last minutes of the battle went down flags of victory in another defeat. On Anzac Day evening in hotel bars, aged warriors discuss old matches, old campaigns, old seasons and old wars. Montgomery's strategy minces with that of the latest Barassi. Toolbrook and how the Swans could not break through. The defence of the steadfast Blues. How the Bombers attacked again and again to be repelled by swarms of Hurricanes and Spitfires, to be repulsed by the bloody Mauler and the terrible Twins, egged on by a crowd jangling medals of their past days as they call for blood and guts, sacrifice and victory. Jacky hears the last siren blending with the last trumpet as he leaves the ground aching with victory and defeat. Song 5, The Song Cycle of Jacky by Oodgeroo. Ned Kelly, the Irishman, disliked the English for tyranny, carried on in the new country. Left alone to do as he pleased, he might have died just a farmer. Left to law and legend, he became a sort of hero, discussed by schoolgirls and boys. Life is not as absurd as reasoned. Man is more than a useless passion, strung up on the gallows tree, either as hero or crim. Decide to choose or not to choose, much like to shave or not to shave, or so altogether now. Ned Kelly was a man who rode through this land, an Irishman brave and true. Then the British hung him high, and so that his feet danced in the sky. And Jacky says they did the same to Yagan, Melville Harry, Brogger, Laurie Jack, L.A. Mara, Tollboy, Meridio, Eremici, and many, many, too many Jackies. Song 6, Song Cycle of Jacky by Colin Johnson, Oodgeroo. Song 6. Terribly distressing what whites go on and on. Australians wrecking the land, Aborigines pass a bottle, discuss relatives and strategy. Whites go on and on and on without accepting our land. Jacky, what feel for England? Many come from there. A social system, love and hopes, men and women, stay-at-homes and runaways. Another country just like India, Cambodia, Thailand, Germany or France, no home. Many come from there, elsewhere. Go on being Australian, Aborigines pass a bottle. Sort out kinship groupings. How Jacky fits as a relative. Whites go on and on. A people a long way from home. Song 7. In memory of Bob Marley. Died 11th of May, 1981. Rastamani come Australia. Rastamani come our land. Rastaman, see how they treat I. See I and I have no land, holes in the ground. See I and I no land, only holes in the ground. And he got pain in his chest and he feel it in his breast. Rastamani listen I and I. Rastamani sing I and I. Sing stand up for your rights. Sing Zion land, your own holy land. Rastamani, sing us out of fear, but he see these holes in ground. Sing the blame and sing the name. Rastamani, feel our pain. A bullet in his chest, a knife in his breast. Now Rastamani, track all over our country. Drink our water, eat our rue, taste our herb. He walked this way, he walked that way. Fill those holes in the ground. Faster he filled, faster they dig. Faster he filled, faster they dig. Turn into big rock to save one place. Turn into big rock, still sits there. Pain in head and pain in chest. For I and I he die, for I and I he die. Singing out a song to protect the land. Barry's tea, drank from a Thundercloud Disobey cup. You can get these cups here. Thundercloud Disobey cups from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Or send me a message or email. oneenglish1@gmail.com. Good tea that. Song 8. They give Jacky rights, like the tiger snake gives rights to its prey. They give Jacky rights, like the rifle sights on its target. They give Jacky rights, like they give rights to the unborn baby, ripped from the womb by its unloving mother. They give Jacky the right to die, the right to consent to mining on his land. They give Jacky the right to watch his sacred dreaming place become a hole. His soul dies, his ancestors cry. His soul dies, his ancestors cry. They give Jacky his rights, a hole in the ground. Justice for all, Jacky kneels and prays. Justice for all, they dig holes in his earth. Justice for all, they give him his rights. A flagon of cheap wine to dull his pain. And his woman has to sell herself for that. Justice for all, they give him his rights. A hole in the ground to hide his mistrust and fear. What can Jacky do but struggle on? The spirits of his dreaming keep him strong. Song 9. Long way from Nuncamba. Pestilential, fetal phantasms. Long way from Nuncamba. Baby, baby, quite contrary. How do your phobias grow? Long way from Nuncamba. Injustice, dead, futureless hope. Don't tell me about your miserable childhoods, wraith-like and boys and girls, while our lives are sunless and landless, while our lives are drank dry with hopeless future. Don't declaim your anti-social ravings clad in suits, while I study the latest figures numbering our dead babies. Don't explain about your aching balls and tits, while I hear of tourists creeping to photograph entwined coons on a dry riverbed they call home. Right near where they took our rock and thought to keep it, through the yellow dog, in warning, took a sacrifice. Song 10. Last land rights demo is over. The Allies pack their bags and run. Pack their bags, but black youth make a stand. On Capitol Hill, where the Maggies squawk a fond hello and welcome to the side of the magpie dreaming. People come and people stare, ignore any attempts at why we care. But high flies the black, red and gold, high flies the black, red and golden sun. People come and people stare, hardly exchange a word to the homeless youths, broke but hopeful under the golden sun, sick of city slums, Redfern and Fitzroy, sick of pigs, blows and booze, sick of sadness filled by hope, going to stay on till they get their rights, going to stay on till we get our rights, while people come and people go, snapping shots at the city below. Land rights demo just over, allies pack their bags and run. Run while black youths make their stand on Capitol Hill and talk of magpie dreaming. Now they're no longer there, no bags to pack, but they've gone away with Jacky and his kind. And the magpies flutter their wings to Redfern and Fitzroy. Song 11. Our demands, you negotiate. We want our rights, our traditional land to be ours forever. Our sacred place is ever sacred under our lawful keepers. Our ancestors stood and fought, marked those places. Our mission's home where you put us, ours. Our losses must be paid for. Compensation to those forced off their land by alien hands. Compensation to the lost and forsaken. Pay so Australia may be made whole. Pay for old crimes never tried or justice passed. Pay part of the money you make from our land. We never surrendered or sold to you. Pay with no conditions or political tricks. Pay, negotiate the terms with us. Free our land from blood debt and festering wounds of discontent. Pay and free us from your welfare checks and hat in hand and condition-laden grants. Song 12. Airi amakacha. Airi amakacha. Jacky watches kitten, black as Rastafarian. Song condemning debris of history, evil Babylon. Jacky watches unripe, leaping, scratching, kicking, rushing, whirling, staggering with apparent underlying steadying of ordered universe, marked out insistent rhythm of African drums. Oh old, oh overripe, oh rotten, missing both incessant rhythm, broken rhythm, drum rhythm, burrow rhythm, tam-tam rhythm, sustaining universe, old but unworn time. Oh old, oh cowardly, oh overripe, dying, forgetting leaping kitten of youthful age, green, unripe. Guitar solo of unrhythmic shrieks screaming, death black and white oppressors, fires birthing new world green, holy. Song 13. Blank faces of a bored elite, hung up smiles of economic junkie wiles. The scramble of a research paper genuinely written for humanity. Tired experiments done with tired hands, Did the mind behind the fogged spectacles of his own boring mediocrity ever consider that he too might make his mark in a bigger world he made up of something other than the economic wine of higher salaries, study leaves, pensions and superannuation? Song 14. It's strange how people can laugh at rape. It's strange how people can laugh at murder, pain, stupidity, ignorance, and last year's losers. It's strange how laughter often is a grimace of contempt, directed at what we fear, hate, or want to mistrust. Jacky walks down the street or white. Jacky sits in a show, the laughter, or white, as a stabbing knife in thwarted mugging. I forget to take my $20 and had to run, but his blade outsped my legs by a few short inches. It's strange how people laugh at one another's hurtings. It's strange how people laugh at their own sadness, while just wanting to a shoulder to cry and be happy on. But all the comfort they find is laughing, echoing, hollow and deep and sobbing with their loneliness. Song 15. It was a day of multiple choices. To get angry, to say no, to say yes, to continue, to go back, but ever forward. It was just one of those days, a no, yes day, mediocre with multiple choices. And so Jacky has arrived here along with Polynesians talking of brothers and putting down the great white lies. And so he has come here, bringing a smile to exchange with chanting Maoris. And what does it all mean, this strange place? Along with a day of multiple choices, the meaning is in the bringing what the morrow will bring to me. All right, I'm going to call it a day there with this one, and I'm going to come back and read. So that's up to song 15 of the Song Circle of Jacky, and I've got another 20 to go here. So I'm just going to call it a day there and move on to some of the other fine poets that I've got. So yeah, wonderful book this one, the Song Circle of Jacky and Selected Poems by Colin Johnson. All right. So here's a book, How to Write Poetry. How do you write poetry? Well, there's a number of ways. You get a pad, a paper and a pen, and think of a topic or a line, and you start, and then you think of another line that goes with it, and then you just keep writing on that topic. And that's it, whatever thoughts come to you. And if you don't like it, you can go back and edit it if you want after you read it. But quite often you'll find if you write from the heart that it will be perfect. All right, this is excuse me, Scholastic's Guide, How to Write Poetry. So let's say we go to a random place in here. Chapter 4, Writing Free Verse Poems. As I mentioned earlier, there are no step-by-step directions for writing a good poem. There you go. So there you go. That's enough. Right. The Oxford Book of Australian Light Verse. Here we go. It's selected by R.F. Brissenden and Philip Grundy. Oxford University Press, Australia in 1991. This one was published. And, oh, look, here we go. There's a Lesbia Harford in here. It's time to read a female one. Page 14. And this is called The Skirt Machinist. Page 14. And I don't know, this is a random one, alright? It's supposed to be light and humorous. The Skirt Machinist by Lesbia Harford. And yes, she was a lesbian, just for your information. I'm making great big skirts for great big women, Amazons who fed and slept themselves inhuman. Such long skirts not less than 2 40 inches, 30 round the waist for fear the webbing pinches. There must be tremendous tucks on those round bellies, underneath the limbs will shake like wine soft jellies. I'm making such big skirts, and all so heavy I can see the wearers at a Lord Mayor's levee. I, who am so small and weak, I have hardly grown, wish the skirts I'm making less, unlike my own. There you go, Lesbia Harford, Skirt Machinist. Let's look for another one in here. And we'll go towards, here we are looking down the list of poems. I'm trying to find another female poet for us who's written something funny in here. Come on, oh goodness gracious me, there's not a lot of female poets. Here we go, Rosemary Dobson. Let's go, or Gwen Harford, they're both good. So page 70-ish. Okay, Rosemary Dobson, Piltdown Man. Piltdown Man is shelved away, Piltdown Man has had his day. 9 split fragments joined in one parietal pieces of cranium. All to himself in the British Museum, Piltdown Man is singing this song. Mandible, canine, terminal, stegodon, flint and broken skull. We all lay low in a gravel bed. If there ever was a body, it lost its head. They found us out and joined us up, pieced my skull like a broken cup. Eminent men in the lecture room threw up their hats when I came in. Prolonged applause for antiquity, stamping feet for stratigraphy. I held the stage, but it didn't last long. Fluorine tests have done me wrong. Radio counts have showed excess. Spectrographic analysis. Applications of science proved. Piltdown Man has never lived. Piltdown Man is quite disproved. He never lived, he never loved. A gravel bed's a private place, but whom to with what? To embrace or listen hard and listen long. For the sad lost notes of Piltdown song. Okay. All right, here we go. I've got now a Les Murray poem from the book Taller When Prone, poems by Les Murray. This one was published by Black Ink. And it was published in 2010 in Melbourne. Okay, I'll take this hat off. Goodbye, pink hat. Hello, fluffy dreads. Croc. This police car with a checkered seam of blue and white teeth along its side lies in cover like a long-jawed, flat dog beside the traffic stream. That's it. That's it. The poem's called Croc, as in short for crocodile. This police car with a checkered seam of blue and white teeth down its side lies in cover like a long-jawed flat dog beside the traffic stream. Nice. I like it. I think that's a really cool and really short, cool poem. Croc by Lesbia. Or the Opera by Lesbia. Twitching the curtain aside reveals an ebullition of talk, including the word lorgnette, which I thought had faded before I was born yet. Right, here we are. Australian songbird Mollie McNutt, Prose and Poetry, and this book was put together by history lecturer or Professor Jane Lally from the University of New England. She was researching the history of the little gold mining town Hillgrove, about 30 minutes east of Armidale, and she came across the Mollie McNutt, who was a teacher and poet, and she also won the Gould League Literary Award for poetry about birds, and it had to be able to be sung. So tonight I'm going to this one, The Birds I Love. This poem won the 1912 Gould League Prize for a song on Australian bird life, capable of being sung to any well-known air. It won only a little over a decade after Australia became a nation and still a few years before our baptism of fire as a country in World War II. So the poem reflects the sentiments of many Australians at that time. Oh, they talk of the songs of the birds overseas, of the mavis and merle of the old country, and the song of the skylark soaring free from the dew-wet lawns in the morning. But give me the magpie's gurgling call, like the prison song of a waterfall, when joyous drifts from the gum trees tall their matin song in the dawning. They say that to hear through the moonlit night the nightingale is a dear delight, and give me the ranges bathed in light and the sound of the bellbirds singing, the chime of their notes like silver bells by fairies rung through our bushland dells, and the love song sweet that the blue wren tells through the scrub and the saplings ringing. Oh, I bear no grudge to the birds o'ersea, but the birds I love are the birds for me. The wagtail spry with its chirrup-chee on my windowsill in the morning, the dear old Jack with his brave ho-he, the silver eye and his melody, and it's oh for a forest harmony and Australian birds in the dawning. Very good, isn't it? Yes. It's lovely. And this is the next one after The Birds I Love, but this is called The Birds of Australia. This poem won the first place in the 1913 Gould League Literary Competition. Like in the previous year, one of the criteria was it could be sung to music. The glamour, the glory of song and of story enhances the charm of the birds oversea, the linty, the lavrock, the gayfer, the peacock, the sweet singing bulbul, but dearer to me, the bushbirds are calling mid wild gullies falling away through the ranges that slope to the sea. Their parrots slow flying in splendour of vying, and gladly outgurgles the magpie's dear song. And sweet notes are ringing of ring coaches singing, and carol of butcherbird gladsome and strong, while lyrebirds near weary of mock songs and cheery of birds of Australia, in spite of our failure with soft words to woo you, our hearts you enthrall. But names that when spoken shall faintly betoken the blaze of your beauty, the lure of your call, shall child lips yet frame you, well right shall they name you, for language of lovers is sweetest of all. Oh, beautiful. All right. You're getting through the books tonight, aren't I? Quite quickly. All right. Here we go. Poetry to End Prohibition by yours truly, Thundercloud Repairian, washing away the garbage, leaving behind rainbows. And at this stage, I still haven't got any of my Facebook accounts back. So they're hacked. And so you won't be able to see this on Facebook as streamed or anything like that, but it is here on YouTube. So hello out there in YouTube world. Now don't forget, if you're looking at this right now, just give it a thumbs up. Click on the thumbs up. Like, just take one click. Click on subscribe to Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, and also the notification bell so you know when new videos are premiering. All right. This book here, Poetry to End Prohibition, was written dedicated to a young man who I met in Nimbin when I arrived in 2017 and who overdosed and passed away 6 weeks later. He was 26. Yeah. So it's dedicated to Daniel Walmsley. Here's one I wrote. We're doing an excavation, an archaeological dig in the garden of Shakespeare in Stratford-upon-Avon, and they found a pipe and it had traces of cannabis in it. This is called Shakespeare Inhaled. Dost thou inhale thy silver sweet smoke of medicinal weed? Shakespeare inhaled, but not strange compounds dost he need. To smoke or to not, but I questioneth what? Art thou inhaling the weed smoke, or art thou not? Hubble and bubble the chalice bong bubble, cauldrons of butter and cannabis bubble. Not a strange compound it is to be, writing midsummer night's sonnets, though thou dost smoketh the weed. Shakespeare inhaled. Okay, here's a funny one. Pizzaster. The giant orgy of gluttony and lust begins, and the holy day prayed all partakes in the sin of the fertility god Ishtar. Now Easter. Let's go to Byron Bay Blues Fest and get pizza. Camping and touring with bikes on the rear to make the most of the last 4 public holidays of the year. I got 7 days off using 2 sickies between Anzac and Easter Day by being tricky. Beer, battered fish and chips. Dad, I want Macca's. Stop your fucking whining. It's driving me crackers. There's no friggin' McDonald's here in Byron Bay. You'll get Fat Piggy's pizza at the end of the day. Byron Bay, Easter time, there's always a rain. Let's go for a drive and stop being a pain. Let's visit Nimbin. I heard it's pretty. A small, colourful town. It's not like this city. Hey, buddy, you want to buy cookies or weed? I have mushrooms as well, whatever you need. Hey, I've got us some brownies for when the kids go to bed. Cannabis brownies, and we'll get off our head. Kids dragged about shops with light flowing frocks and rainbow chimes hanging from handicraft shops, markets of farm produce, craft and imports, now footy season's full swing. There's so many sports games that I have to view. Let's go back to the hotel room. There's something I've got to do. Heads down in iPads and glows of smartphones on family holidays. But isolated, alone. I'm hungry. Wait till dinner, I promised you pizza. The lineup was 30 minutes because it was Easter. And then the pizza arrived after a 2-hour wait, and the pasta arrived after that 1 hour late. Lola whined constantly, I wanted a toy. I've the whole Happy Meal set except the boy toy. With her bottom lip hanging and wearing a frown, whining and whinging, she wore me down. I was bubbling and furious and just about to crack, but Lola, my little girl under the table, kicked my ball sack under the table, and I gave a loud yell and silenced the whole restaurant, the lineup as well. And I hit the roof and lost my temper, went crackers the day that my little girl kicked me in the knackers. Just as the police walked in for a pizza, I was arrested for disrupting the peace there that Easter, and cannabis cookies on our holiday in Byron Bay, fingerprinted, bailed, and in court on Tuesday. And that's the story of the pizza disaster at Easter, the Pizzaster in Byron at Fat Piggy's Pizza. Poetry to End Prohibition, you can buy it from me direct here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, and I can mail it out to you. Or you can go to Amazon and get it at amazon.com.au. Just look up Poetry to End Prohibition by Thundercloud Repairian. Another book out there is Love in Nimbin and Lust in Nimbin. They don't look like this, they've got new covers, the new edition. And I'm going to read out of Love in Nimbin. I know a place, a magic place, a place of peace and quiet. Walk along a watercourse, walking very quiet. Sun beats down, water's cool. Sip it up, fish in a pool. Yabby blue and green, sun can be seen. Sure, that's what it is. That's from Love in Nimbin. And from Lust in Nimbin, here's another one. Ooh. Haiku. So just a haiku is a 3-line poem with first line 5 syllables, second line 7 syllables, third line 5 syllables. Her arm twisted around, handcuffed tight and dragged away. Harmless, healing herb. Harm haiku. Her arm twisted around, handcuffed tight and dragged away. Harmless, healing herb. That's from Lust in Nimbin. That's my book. Hey, you know what else is happening this week at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame? Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we've got Wednesday Words, as every Wednesday we do, from live here from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. It's not broadcast live at the moment because Facebook's been hacked. And I don't know, maybe they should chop off the right hand of hackers and they can't use their mouse if they catch them. Anyway, but that's just it's purely an opinion. But Wednesday Words from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, 6:30. Come and watch it live or catch up later on YouTube here. Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, we have the Gyra Farmers and Craft Market here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Last week, wow, what a week it was. On Thursday, we had Glenn Skewthorpe and Laney Jameson on the stage, and they were fantastic, as was Sunday evening's Soul Express with Laura Zarb. So, if you get the chance, check out Laura Zarb's Soul Express. I think she's going to play at the Sydney Festival, the Fringe Festival. But Glenn Skewthorpe, 6 albums, 2 soundtracks for Emu Runner and John Pillager's Utopia. What a talented musician, seriously. And yeah, big shout out to Emma who organised it as well. Thank you very much to all the musicians. But coming up here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, this is really exciting. Here we go. On the 10th of June, it's a Friday night, we have the Winter Vibes Pacific Music Dance Party. It's Friday the 10th of June, 7:30 to 11 p.m, featuring the Solomon Island Band and the Vanuatu String Band. Now, you might not know them, but I know them, and they are, both bands are a bunch made up of local seasonal Pacific Island workers who come to Australia to pick tomatoes here in Gyra, where we grow 56% of New South Wales tomatoes in greenhouses. And these guys do just amazing Pacific kind of island reggae kind of stuff. Tickets are only $10. There'll be food available here from Seahorse Medicine Cafe at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. So that's Friday the 10th of June at 7:30. So yeah, get along to that. That is going to be fantastic. Dance party night here at the Poetry Hall of Fame in Gyra. Yeah, and that's it from me, Thundercloud. Almost it from me for the week, because I reckon I need to read to you some of my newest poetry from the last week, which I've written, which is here on my iPad, and I'm going to just pull it up for you. Rightio. Let's go. Maybe not. All right. This one's called Woof. A dog named Trevor had 5 legs and 3 ears on his head. He loved to eat ostrich eggs, and this is what he said. I love to eat ostrich eggs, I've 3 ears on my head. My name's Trevor with 5 legs, I'm a talking dog, Trev said. Woof. Okay, once more just for effect. Woof. A dog named Trevor had 5 legs and 3 ears on his head. He loved to eat ostrich eggs, and this is what he said. I love to eat ostrich eggs, I've 3 ears on my head. My name's Trevor with 5 legs, I'm a talking dog, Trev said. Ta-da! Right. So that was it. Yeah, that is it. And here we go. This one is one I sort of just made up. I don't know, it's actually not true, but it sounds good, like it could be true. My mum liked it. It could be true and I just don't remember it, or I could be true and I remembered something that I didn't remember. I don't know. When I was a youthful lad, my dad came to me a little sad and said, "My son, I think you're mad. A strange, unique, unusual lad. You make me laugh and also glad, so be yourself and you'll be rad. Don't follow crowds or you'll be had. Now you see I'm a little sad. You went with the crowd, my lad. There are consequences to be had. You're grounded at home in your pad." This was the lesson from my dad to an immature, youthful lad. Don't follow crowds or you'll be had. Thanks, Dad. And of course, Vicky and Wally. Now, my friend Wally came in today and I read this one out, so I've had a bit of a practice today. There once was a man and his name was Wally, and he had a sister and her name was Vicky. Wally had a lolly and Vicky had a bicky. Wally didn't want his lolly and he said to Vicky, "Let's be tricky, swap a lolly for a bicky." Vicky wanted a lolly and a bicky, pulled a quickie, sneezed on Wally's lolly and ate her bicky. Wally's lolly was icky, boogery and sticky, so he gave the lolly to Vicky, who ate it quickly. Tricky Vicky. Yeah, that's it. Tricky Vicky, tricky, tricky, tricky. And we're going to finish because we're here in Mother of Ducks Lagoon, and 6 days ago I wrote this, and I haven't read it yet, I don't think, or I did on Wednesday last week maybe. It's called Mother of Ducks Lagoon. The lagoon is the mother of ducks, providing, as all good mothers do, an abundance of nurturance. A nesting place, a feeding place, a resting place, a growing place, a swimming place, a flying place, a coming and a going, but a homely kind of place. Mother of Ducks Lagoon. All right, that's it for Chillin' on a Tuesday. It's very cold here in Guyra. Outside it's probably feeling like about -1, -2 degrees, and yeah. Hey Siri, what's the weather in Guyra?
It's currently cloudy and 4 degrees.
There you go. It's currently cloudy and 4 degrees. And it's windy, and it probably feels like -2 or something out there. And that's it from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. I'm Thundercloud, washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rain, celebrating Australian poetry and just chilling in the chilly, chilly Tuesday of Guyra. See you later.